This is another eastern red cedar juniper log that I harvested from a piece of property that I'm going to shape into a bow stave if I can. And I just want you to know that eastern red cedar, the dust, it's poisonous and toxic. So you have to be careful if the wind's blowing away from me. You got to be careful. Wear a mask, wear goggles, sweep up the dust. Don't use a leaf blower and put the stuff in the air. If you're going to use any saws or anything, make sure you have goggles or shield and a mask on. But I'm gently removing the bark, which comes off so easy, but I want to be careful. I really don't want to go into any growth rings. I just want to remove the bark so I can lay out a bow and see what's underneath this here. This is the only viable side right here. The other side underneath is loaded with knots. So if I'm going to make something, I got to see after I remove the bark what this part looks like here. Okay, now that I took off the majority of the bark and I was able to see where the knots are and have a somewhat of an idea where I can lay out a bow, we're going to try and take the cambium off now. Okay. This again is in the spring and we're able to peel it off. Okay, let me look how nice this is coming off here. Okay. Coming off very nice. I'm very happy with the process. But like I said, you have to take off that outer bark first just to expose the knots and all, to figure out where you're going to lay out the bow. And again, be careful because this is poisonous, an irritant. Look up cedar fever. Cedar fever when you get a chance, okay? Look it up on the internet. Look, see, comes right off, see? Just like the other woods in the spring when it's flowing. But that's an important step that I take to take off that bark and see where I can lay out a bow. Just to show you, when I was looking in the woods, I was looking at this side and said, wow, there's all branches and all, and I kept walking and looking around the tree. Okay. And I looked over here on this side, and I went, wow, there's a bow in this side. There'll be a bow in this side for me to make. All right. So the plan originally was to take off some bark and see what was hidden underneath, you know, with the draw knife, and then peel that cambium layer off if it looked decent, which I did. But I peeled off the cambium from the whole bow just to show you what I was dealing with. So now we're going to lay out a bow here, and I'll show you the design, and we're going to trim it up. And once again, that cedar, the dust, is toxic and poisonous. You got to wear a mask and goggles if you're going to have any dust. If you're going to saw it or sand it, it's a must. And again, look up cedar fever on the internet just to see for yourself. Okay, time to lay out a bow. I'm going to make a 66-inch bow. I'm going to trim off these knotted ends. going to see what kind of center line I can get out of this. And when you look at it, you can see that where you have to move the line to encompass the limbs, the riser. Because of the knot on the end, I want to go off to the side. I have to go off to the side a little bit more than I want to, but let's snap a line and then check it out. And just so you know, just because you snap a line and lay it out, don't mean you can't erase it and redo it again if it don't seem like it fits or it's going to work. You know, this is just a start, a reference point, okay? There's always some issue that you're worried about. So within 3 inches from the fade out, there's a knot here. And we got to see how far it goes down. If anything, I could always make it a little stiffer inner end. But I can't tell until I eventually trim this out what it's going to look like under here. So when the time comes for me to trim this out, this layout out, this will be the first side that I'm going to trim out. And I'm going wide, like 2 inches wide, and I'm going to go down to 3/8 ends. I'm going to make a safe design. Okay, very safe, bendable design. And people say that they normally back this too. The last one I made, I backed with rawhide. I don't know if I'm going to back it or just see if it'll take the bend. Let's see what happens. But let me lay it out, and that's going to be the first trim to see if it's going to be okay. Okay, I laid this on the side, and this is the opposite side that's got all the knots and all. And I'm just going to trim this straight on the bandsaw, make sure I hold it, not to torque it, to twist, to snap a blade. I'm going to cut a flat bottom on this, so when I cut the profile of the bow off, there won't be anything catching. It'll be a nice smooth, you know, cut. Okay, I trimmed it out. Here's the rough profile. That knot that I was worried about should be okay. Here it is here. You can see it on the bottom. It's got a twist to it. Like everything else, it always has a twist. And we'll have to see. I'm going to put this in the house to dry up a little. This end here is a little thicker, and this one's tapered a little finer because it's straight. This is the one that has the twist. So I'm going to, at some point, figure out what I'm going to do to straighten out the twist. Put it on the backset jig, use heat, or if it don't seem to go, maybe steam it and clamp it. I'll have to see in the future what I'm going to do to straighten out this little bit of a twist. But once it's done, we're going to fire harden this, and then I'm going to see how I'm going to proceed, whether I'm going to back it with something or just leave that natural back that we peeled the cambium off and see if I can get it to bend without breaking, all right? Now, most people back these Eastern Red Cedars because they're kind of weak in tension, but I got to bend it a little bit, even with the twist. And you know, I got the bow flexing. It's a little thicker than normal. So that's it for now. It's going to rain for a couple of days. I'm going to put it in the house, let it dry out naturally on the table. And I think next time you see the video, we're going to try straightening this out one way or the other. Maybe I'll narrow this down a little bit more to match the straight limb, and then take the twist out. Like I said, we got a few days of rain coming, and this was a live tree that was cut down 2 weeks ago, let's say. Let's give it 2 weeks, okay? It was probably less, but 2 weeks. And see, I didn't trim this one narrower, this limb, because this is the twisted limb. but I used a 2x3, and I got it clamped kind of flush, and we're going to let it dry out like that for a few days. So at any rate, it will, when it dries, hopefully it'll dry a little straighter, and I'll be able to taper it a little more accurately. And the next time we come out with this, I'll be able to take it down a little bit and put it on the backset jig and prepare it for fire hardening. So that's the plan. Let it dry with a little support. Straightened. It's straightened, by the way. You know, fairly straightened. And the next will be put it on the shaping, a little shaping, and put it on the backset jig for fire hardening. When I brought it in, I checked with the moisture meter, so it's got 18% moisture in it. There's a lot of moisture in it. Just figure I'd add that on. Well, I got it on the backset jig. I lit the coals on fire. I guess I'll be staying out late tonight. Got lights on the house. Have to get some bug spray, though. I starting to see the mosquitoes flying around. And we're going to cook this thing for a couple hours. Okay, we're going to hydrate this, hydrate it. I'm going to hydrate this for a couple of days. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the natural back that we peeled the cambium off and put string grooves in. And I'm going to see if I can get it to bend without breaking. Now, I have rawhide. I could rawhide back it, but I think I'm just going to just try it. See what happens. If it breaks, it breaks. Right? A little challenge just to see if I can get it to bend without breaking. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Every day you get up is a great day. Try to make the best of it. You hear the tree frogs? They're going crazy in the back.